Alright guys, we're going to tie a new little baitfish pattern that I've been toying with and is going to release for 2018. I'll have them for sale here at the Denver Fly Fishing Show next weekend. But here's how to tie them. They're a real easy pattern, fish really well, and it's a great little pattern for us to have in our box. So we're going to start out with a deep streamer RX hook. I'm going to take some 140 denier white thread. I'm going to start at the back, work up, and then work back down, and that just gives us a nice little palette to work off of. We're going to take Superbou from Whiting Farms. This is an awesome product if you haven't gotten a chance to look at it yet. It's chicken marabou, so it moves very differently than turkey marabou. But it's a great little product. It comes with a real nice natural barring. We're going to take one piece, and we're going to keep this fairly small, and we want this back tail to really whip in the water. And so just one piece of that marabou. It's very light. It's got a great barring to it, and it moves really, really well. So we're going to take that. We're going to go over the top of it and give us a little bit of a thing to work off of here. We're going to take go to the halfway point and take another piece of that and go just right to the base of the tail, and we're going to start to build a taper. This is a smaller fly as far as profile. It's supposed to imitate those little bait fish and fry that we're seeing in the water. So we're going to take that. We're going to go to some white marabou. And we're going to select a piece here that is, this is just standard blood quill. So let's get a good piece here. We're just going to strip that down to the tip, turn it over. We want the same length underneath. Okay. We'll go ahead and clip that off. We're going to move forward to right behind the eye. And it's important to note that each one of these is right on top of the hook. So we're building a really thin profile, and that's going to cause that bait fish to really kind of be a little bit erratic in its retrieval. So we're going to go back to our Superbou, and you get a nice patch of it. This is half of the patch. I usually split it in half and then work from different sides of it. So we're going to take another piece of this Superbou here. And we're about one eye length back. And we're going to make that just a little bit short of our last piece. Tie that in. And nice cutoff point there. Okay, we'll go back to our white marabou. And if you want to, you can invert the hook if you've got that rotary function. And we're going to do the same thing. Every part of this fly moves in the water, and it's just a great looking pattern when it's wet. It's been great for when you start seeing bait balls, but equally at home in your trout rivers. Great for the pooter around here in Fort Collins in Colorado. We're going to take some Ripple Ice fiber. This is the UV Pearl. And we're just going to take a little bit out here. Okay. And this stuff is awesome. It just glistens in the water. It's a really, really great material. So we're going to take it. I've kind of found the halfway point here. And I'm going to take that halfway point and I'm going to capture it with my thread. And half of that is going to become the belly flash, and that's going to sweep back into that marabou. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that clump, and I'm going to divide it in half. And I'm going to pull that along the side of the fly. And that just kind of helps to maybe add a little bit of that lateral line in there, and it just looks really nice in the water. What we're going to go to is a Summerlitz gray and white fox brush. These are the Summerlitz Foxy brushes from EP. And these are a great combination of a synthetic and a natural fiber and a little bit of flash in there. And it almost looks like that electric flash, that Ribble fiber flash. And what's so great about that is the fact that it blends really well into the collar that we're going to make here. And this is just to absorb a little bit of that water pressure when you're stripping this through. Since it is marabou, we want something to absorb that water pressure. You know, if you're fishing this in a river or in a lake, it's going to help with that motion as well as just to absorb some of that pressure. So I went ahead and just cut those off with a bad pair of scissors, or I have these ones that are devoted to just to wire, since it is stainless steel in that brush. And we're just going to take our brush and kind of pick this out and make sure there's nothing tied down at all. And then we can go ahead and just kind of stroke that back a little bit and give us a nice little head here in the front. And we can go ahead and whip finish off. What we'll do is we'll take some, these are just hollow eyes, holographic eyes here on a sheet. Okay, you can use living eyes from Flyman. You can use whatever fly eyes that you like to use. These look really great with a red eye on as well on them. Okay, so I've taken 2 of them and take some Loctite Super Gel, and I'm just going to put a little ring of gel on there of super glue. Okay, and I want this to be really nice and thin up here on the front, so I'm gonna go ahead and just set those on there real quick, and I'm putting them pretty close to right on top of that thread head. And I'll go ahead and do the other side. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll grab by the back here, and I want to squeeze those so that we get a nice narrow head on this. That's going to help with the erratic motion of when you strip this through the water. It's going to really be like a blade that's going to make this fly dance a little bit. And it's going to help with that fluttering of that marabou in the back. So we'll hold those on until you start to feel them really grab on there. Okay, and here's a little trick for this. This is natural and synthetic, but if I just take a cigarette lighter and I go up to the front here, it'll get rid of anything that's right there in the front. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of comb this up a little bit, kind of get my profile where I want it to be on here. And then what I'll go ahead and do is I'll just take, this is UV resin that I've got in a cup here on the side, and I'm just going to, this is a kind of a thin resin. A loon thin or even a thick is great here. You can really use whatever resin you want. I really like to stick to loon. Okay, so what we're doing is we're filling in that gap in between the eyes with some resin. And that allows us to really kind of get whatever profile we want to have on the front of this so that our head stays consistent. Allows our materials to really flutter in the back here. And then what I'll do is I'll just coat those eyes over the top. And that just kind of highlights everything in there. Okay, then we'll take, I usually do it with 2 torches. And I just give that a real nice hit with the loon torches. Turn that off. And put those down. And that head now will stay exactly how I put it to make that really consistent in the water. And that is bomb-proof there at the front. Those eyes are nice and glued on. There's no residue of what we're doing. Cure it really nice. And that is a great little bait fish pattern. using that ripple ice and the whiting Superbou. If you haven't gotten a chance to check out that whiting Superbou, give it a look, because it's a lot of fun to work with, and a really, really great product. So if you're coming by the Denver Fly Fishing Show next weekend, stop by the booth, say hi. Hope you all had a great new year, and tie some up.